All right, everyone, welcome back to episode 13 of Jux, an all things sports podcast presented to you by Always Bullin. Things might look a little different to you on the screen. It's just me and Train today. Gnar had to take off early for a trip, so you got the two of us, but we got a lot of info coming at you guys. Starting off with some good Week 13 NFL highlights, jumping into college football, baseball offseason, hopefully touch on some basketball and hockey, and then we'll get into our picks for next week and some college football playoff talk, potential NFL playoff scenarios. We'll give it all to you guys today. Full length episode, just the two of us. So, first things first, Train. We'll jump into Bills Patriots, Thursday Night Football. I think we had eyes on the game. Pretty sure we did. 1 o'clock games are going to be rough, but what do you got for us on Bills Patriots?
Bills Patriots again a long time ago. Thursday night football games.
Always such a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. Taking that like 4 or 5 day gap, it's the tough ones. But Ramondre is the running back there. They're not struggling too much on that side, um, or with their running back, the Patriots. I think it's more of, um, you know, their defense is great, and they're going against a Bills team, and I think this Bills team is just better than the Patriots. If you were trying to explain that to me, saying that the Lions or the Jags in your scenario, and just saying that the Bills are just better than those teams, I would probably disagree and have some sort of explanation for it. But no, Bills are just the better team, better record um, at this point in the season.
James Cook looked good for the Bills. They've been struggling to find a guy in the backfield who can consistently do well. I think they've been rotating a lot. Dalvin Cook's younger brother, he got some catches, got some runs, looked good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's nice to see a little two brothers doing well in the NFL, both being running backs. Yeah, maybe they finally found it. And Singletary's still also doing pretty well with their rushing touchdowns, split with those two and Josh Allen for rushing. It's
can be a
kind
good
of neat
duo for sure.
for sure.
Next game we got is a game I had the pleasure of being at. A game that was really fun for Lions fans, not so much Jaguars fans. I'll let Train talk a little bit about the Lions side of the game from what he saw, and then I'll jump into me being at the game and give some Jaguars talk. So, Train, Lions fan point of view, watching at home, what was it like for you?
I was traveling, so I had it up on my phone, no volume. Um, but I watched it, and when you're not hearing about the game, you're not like fully focused in the Lions game, or I guess in any game, you kind of don't realize how well some of them played. Amon Ra actually just went insane. 11 receptions, 114 receiving yards, and two reception touchdowns or receiving touchdowns. And then Jamal always gets a touchdown. The team just went and played really well against the Jags. Um, you know, there's a lot of receivers, and I wrote them all down here. All of the receivers that were drafted before Amon Ra, and now I think it's to the point where we can talk about it a little bit. I think he's proven himself
He's
that
been
he's a
good.
good
He's been good.
receiver,
He's been
and
great. He's been great.
he has. And
I liked
do
him
you
the
think?
moment they drafted him out of USC. He was good. I thought, what, fourth round? I thought that was way too late.
Yeah, pick 112. Um, so a lot of love for Amon Ra, and I can't wait until we have Jamison fully back, Jamo all the way back. We saw him play a couple of snaps, I believe. Bart got to see his first few snaps in the NFL, which is nice. And then with this win against the Jags, which is huge. Uh, you good?
Shoes making some noises.
Oh, okay. Um, this big win, you got to talk about it, and unfortunately, Lions fans, don't get your hopes up too high. I was literally just looking with playoff predictors all day, and there's a way we might make it. We have to win a lot of games, and it starts off with the Vikings at home here. So I think those are pretty. We play the Vikings at home, and then the Jets at the Panthers, home against the Bears, and then at Packers. There's a scenario where we win all those games and still don't make the playoffs. There's also a scenario probably if we win 3 of those games and make the playoffs. It's just don't get your hopes up too high, but there's a chance. What do we got back?
The Jacksonville Jaguars has been a roller coaster of emotions, and it's been documented on all these podcasts. Trevor Lawrence is still the guy. He looked great. He looked incredible. The injury was rough. A lot of us were just happy he was back in the game and running normal. Reen didn't want him going back on the field. He thought there was no reason. But he looked good. I stand behind that. We've got a quarterback. We've got our guy. Zay Jones, after having a monster week the week before and a win over the Ravens, has like 5 drops in that game. Tough. The offensive line couldn't block to save their lives. Cam Robinson's getting $18 million to give up blindside sacks to our quarterback. Jawan Taylor's the only one playing semi-decent, and he's on a contract year. The moment we pay him, it's going to be rough. Game starts out with an Etienne fumble. One thing he's been unable to do is hold on to the football lately. Huge momentum shift. Defense goes out flat-footed. Can't tell you how many times I saw Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen both on the sidelines with Robertson Harris. The D coordinator's got to go. We spend like the second most money on defense right now, and the Lions have a good offense. I think that was definitely proven, and we're missing guys at cornerback, which was also rough. The don't cover Amon-Ra playbook, that did not work very well for us. If I was a D coordinator, I'd have done that differently. But Mike Caldwell's got to go. He's got to be gone. You got to go defense in the draft. It was atrocious. Offense, Trevor needs protection. Calvin Ridley's coming back. Maybe you get a late round guy who's good, second, third. But the defense was bad. It was ugly. I don't think I got to get up and cheer even once. Maybe for half of that Etienne run at the very beginning because he busted it. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then all of a sudden, all the Lions fans are on their feet and the ball's loose, and it wasn't even it was an obvious fumble, and it just deflated the 20 Jaguars fans that were there at the time. It was already very loud. It was a good home crowd for the Lions. Tough game for the Jaguars. I'm officially in losses are small victory phase of the season.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you about. Like, we obviously talked today, and you play the Titans twice. The Jags do, and there's probably a little bit less of a chance that the Jags get it rather than Lions. But both are really kind of just you gotta win your games and hope that other people that you don't need to win games also don't win those games. So right now, if they lose the next game, you're fine with it. If they win the next game, are you all the way back?
If it's a good win, yes. You'd like to see the guys succeed, but we're sitting at 7 right now. Sliding from 7 to something like 4 could work wonders for the D-line. If we can get to a spot where we can get Jalen Carter, I think that'd be really exciting.
So you want a draft pick?
I'd like a draft pick, yeah. I think we need
All
it.
right.
We need it more than we need wins right
I
now.
think now is the time where you answer that. You answer that.
It has to be. It has to. Like, I don't know. Yeah. At
You
this
can't just go
point,
out there and win like 2 or 3 of them, and just for sure not get in. Rather than you kind of want to lose.
it's very obvious the team needs help at this point. It's not to a point where, if we make these couple of plays, this is still a solid team, which could have been a thought process against the Ravens. It was abundantly clear that this team needed multiple layers of help on Sunday. We were right there next to it. They looked bad. They were deflated. They got to switch it up on defense. That coordinator's garbage. But yeah, it was frustrating. I'm ready for the draft. It's draft pick season. Hopefully the quarterbacks rise and we get a good defensive player to fall to us. It'd be incredible. It'd be really helpful. Ravens have an ugly game against the Broncos. It seems to be the case for teams who play the Broncos. 10-9. Lamar goes down. Is Lamar out for good train? Is he out for the season? What's going on in Baltimore right now?
I think it was like a PCL or something. They're saying 1 to 3 weeks typically on that injury. think that came out today. And I just root against the Broncos now. I think it's just funny how bad Russ is. The Ravens. How many points did the Jags put up against them? I I, I mean, quite a few, right?
28 to 27.
Yeah, 28 points, and then Russ, in this offense, has got to score more than 9 points. Huntley goes in the game after Lamar does get injured, and plays well enough to get the win, and that's all you that's all you really need out of your backup. Uh, I don't think Lamar played very much at all before he was out.
22 pass
Yeah.
attempts.
How many?
22.
Oh, okay.
Wait, never mind. That was Russ's stat line I was looking at.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how much Lamar played. I didn't watch the game. Uh, Gus Edwards didn't get many touches. The Ravens' backfield is being juggled right now. It was a tough game. If anything, I think it shows how much Lamar can mean to this offense. But something's in the air against teams who play the Broncos. Every single game's been ugly on both sides. I don't even know if
Good.
anyone's played a
They have
good
good
game
defense.
against the Broncos yet. They have a great defense, but 10-9, I don't know. I think it's really interesting that the Seahawks. I was looking at mocks today. The Seahawks are sitting at 3 with that Denver pick right now.
Well, I mean, they didn't. It didn't really take them long to rebuild, did it?
No, they
I
looked
mean,
good. It's almost it's close to a Lions situation when you guys send Stafford over there, and now this season, you guys are popping out while the Rams are in teardown, and now you're getting their number 4 pick. That yeah, at the time of the trade, you're thinking 30 up, 30 plus.
yeah,
Same when
it's
the
almost the same
Broncos were
thing.
trading to the Seahawks. You're
Well,
anticipating.
except for the Broncos aren't winning a Super Bowl anytime soon.
Well, yeah, that's happening immediately for
The
them.
only difference. Only
It's
difference.
happening. The Seahawks arguably got. I don't know if maybe they stayed even. Maybe Russ just isn't a good quarterback. I mean, I, Noah Fant hasn't been great. Obviously,
He
Drew
got a
Lock hasn't
touchdown.
even been starting, but you're already looking at a third round pick or a third overall pick for Russell Wilson and some on top of that. Got to be fun to be a Seahawks fan with all that going down. But yeah, I'm done with Broncos games. They're getting frustrating to watch. You got to root against Russ at this point. Money in the Bank play hits, and the teaser pick hits. I don't know why it was a pick 'em in the first place. The Falcons aren't great. The Steelers are a sound team. And even when they're weak, they're still that team. That's a hurdle that separates a playoff team and a non playoff team. They win the game by 3. Didn't look great. Offensive coordinator, still bad. We don't have Ryan here, so we can't have much input from him as a Steelers fan. But they won. They won by 3. It's what they do. They win games against teams that shouldn't win games. You know, so I was happy. I was happy the Money in the Bank hit. We moved to 4-2 on that now. I'm 2-0 on Money in the Banks, and it keeps the 11-0 teaser picks going. So we're still running high on that. Train, anything to touch on for this one? Steelers Falcons.
The Steelers are just winning games, and Kenny's getting a lot of experience as a rookie. And when they do, I thought they weren't going to be as good as they are. I mean, they're starting to win games. They're 5-7, kind of similar to the Lions at the beginning. I thought we were all just bad teams here, and 5-7 isn't the best record, but they'll build around Kenny and just help him out, and all this experience this year is only going to make it better for the years to come, I think.
George Pickens audibly and visibly frustrated with his target count that game. Is there a problem in Pittsburgh with receivers lately? This is I think Pickens might be a little bit crazy, and we knew that. So what is drawing or turning people crazy in Pittsburgh? Again, we kind of knew about Pickens already, but you got AB, Juju wanted out. Something's in the air in there is all I'm saying. Pickens was really frustrated.
No, I think it's just a coincidence.
A
I think it's
coincidence.
I think it's gotta be. Um, yeah. I mean, did AB get arrested? How did that end up?
I don't
I
even
mean,
know. They might still be in a standoff. He had
I have
guns in there, dude.
like they're like, AB is in a standoff with the police or whatever, and I never heard the end of it. I
Yeah, I
don't know
think
how
he's
it
still
ended.
in there.
It's probably just still, yeah, they're probably still waiting it out.
Packers beat the Bears. Justin Fields looks incredible on the ground again, but the Packers still win. Christian Watkins looking impressive, finally breaking out 6'4" with speed, gaining trust from Aaron Rodgers. Train, are the Packers a threat again? Are the Bears just that bad? And can Justin Fields ever turn himself around into someone who can win games instead of just looking good in a loss?
Well, that's what it's all about. You got to be a good quarterback, get wins, and Justin Fields hasn't been winning games. Two picks, that's big as a quarterback. That Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna be trying to win games at this point of the season. He doesn't have anybody around him. I think Hammy said that when he came on. They're 3-10, and I would imagine that they're just gonna try to build around him and not try to win games. Are the Packers a threat now because they found their good draft pick with Christian Watson? Um, I can't say it doesn't help them. They're definitely get better with him, and it's scary that we have to play him and Fields for most of their career probably. Uh, and then obviously Justin Jefferson. I mean, if you think about our division, that's kind of crazy. Having that young talent with Amon Ra as well.
And
Um,
JMO.
yeah, it's just going to be a crazy, especially after they pick a receiver to help out Fields. I think.
I mean, he was matched up on like cornerback 7 for the Jaguars, maybe, but JMO was winning everything off the line with ease. The one target was a tough throw. It's where Goff had to put it, but he would have caught it out of bounds if he caught it. I think the guy's going to make plays for you. I think the Lions are getting some of those playmakers of their own. But yeah, Justin Fields, Christian Watson, going to be frustrating guys. Justin Jefferson, great game this week. Vikings beat the Jets. Mike White does what Mike White does and has a very regular Mike White game after his great Mike White game. Train, here's how I'll touch on this game because there's not a ton. Jets defense looks solid. Vikings have Jay Jettas and a good veteran quarterback. Coming out of this game, though, and we'll jump into it more on bets, Lions come in as 2.5-point favorites against the Vikings this weekend. What does that mean to you as a Lions fan? This is a good Vikings team.
What it means that obviously someone thinks that the Lions are good, and especially at home. People are gonna show up to Ford Field, believing just like I was believing all day in those playoff predictors, and they're gonna see the same thing I saw. Like I gotta go to the game this week. This is the biggest game of the season, and I've been saying that all week, all year. I've been saying that every game almost. Biggest game of the season, but this one's pretty big. I think if we do win this one, um, it'll be huge for the team. That'll be what 5-1 in the last however many weeks, and our one loss was against the Bills, and uh, you know, 2.5. It came out as one yesterday, got to 1.5, 2.5 today. I didn't expect it. They're 10-2. We're 5-7. Can you try to explain it to me, Bart? Because other than the fact that I think that someone thinks that the Lions are a better team, I I don't know what else to say.
I'm nervous at the spread. I am. I think a lot of Lions fans seem optimistic about it. Ham had his little big monies on the Lions, public monies on the rate or on the Vikings. I don't know how to interpret all that. I don't know how lines in Vegas work. I think it's a little odd. This is a 10-2 Vikings team, but maybe Vegas looks at the close game that was played earlier in the year and the very obviously better Lions team now than they were when they played the Vikings earlier. That was what, a 3-point game when you lost to them last time?
think it was 28-24, and they scored a touchdown in like the last minute.
And now the Lions are hot, and the defense looks to be a little bit good.
And we didn't have.
It's
I
gonna
don't think we
take
had Amon Ra or Swift in that game.
it's gonna take shutting down Justin Jefferson, which is a big if
Yeah.
for anybody. Not That's not a knock on the Lions defense. And then I think you got to see Swift turn a corner. Still, he looked good. That was a putrid Jaguars defense. That's not a knock either. I just think you guys need to see a little bit more from him still, especially because Jamal's doing just about the same thing. I don't know. I don't know how to interpret a -2.5 for the Lions against the 10-2 Vikings team. We'll see. We'll see. Lions fans seem optimistic. I don't want to
I
knock the
mean,
Lions,
how
but
can you not be a little optimistic? You're -2.5 against a team that's 10-2 and already beat you. I mean, you gotta feel like a little bit good after
I just feel like
what
when
we've
the
been.
Lions start to get favored, that's when things start to turn wrong for them.
Okay, yep, that's a fair argument.
And that's why, like, Lions, like, I don't know if you guys are just falling for it again because that's what happens now. But
Oh
this
yeah,
almost just, I don't want to say this. I don't. But I've been a Lions fan before, and I just feel like this is that week where they sucked you back in after you gave up, and then it's just gonna be bad, and then you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right, we do suck. And I don't think they suck. I think they have good pieces. I think the defense is looking good lately. But I've been there. I've been there before, and it just seems like the week, where you're finally like, yeah, dude, we are a good team. It's happened before for Lions. We had Calvin Johnson and Matt Stafford on the same team. This just seems like one of the weeks where you finally get that hope, and then you just get crushed.
probably
And I'm
probably like
sorry. I'm sorry for
no
saying that.
no
I don't want
no
to be
you just
right.
you just put it in my head, and I probably should make an emotional, like a very large emotional hedge, and just bet a lot of money on the Vikings because I'll pay for that win. I will.
Yeah, I don't know. Take the money line at least.
Yeah,
Get some
that's
good
what I'm
odds
saying.
on it. I don't want to be true. I want that to all be wrong. But I don't know. I've just been there. I've been there. We'll see. That's my opinion on the spread. And I think I just maybe they got America again. Tie game. Commanders tie up the Giants 2020. A hot Commanders team. What I think solid Giants team. Mediocre. Tough matchup. Saquon looked good. Not a lot of highlights on this game. I don't know. Are the
Uh,
Commanders a playoff team, Train? Do you think?
well, that's the thing I was gonna get into. The fact that these two teams tied is actually so bad for the Lions. We needed one of these teams to start doing bad, because they are both in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure right now,
Yep.
and we're trying to get past them. So the fact that they tied, huge for them. Each of those teams, and bad for us. I'm just gonna probably refer to the Lions on most of these things. That we're gonna tie them back just because we didn't really watch a whole lot of these 1 o'clock games. Um, I think there was a questionable day ball. Like he went for it in overtime, or he didn't go for it in overtime. But regardless, we're kind of seeing this Giants team that started off 6-0. And if I'm right, they would be 1-4-1 in the last 6 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're just getting lucky, and they're a
Danny
good team.
Dimes.
They're a good team. Obviously, you can't. They win games, or they were winning games, but I think if it comes down to the Lions or the Giants, and if we don't get in over them in the playoffs, I think we're a better team. Now with the Commanders, how hot they are right now with Heineke, he wins games. He's the I think he's carrying the better team right now over these two teams.
I would agree, but I think Danny Dimes is the better quarterback, and that might be bold, but I don't know. I don't know if that's America's opinion or not. I think if you swap those quarterbacks, I think the teams would do remarkably similar to how they're doing right now. But I
Oh
think
yeah, Yeah.
But I think if you swap them before this game, I think Danny Dimes on the Commanders wins.
Okay. Why?
I, he's just got that dog in him, I think. Not that Heineke doesn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say Heineke definitely
But there's
does.
something about that man that it's keeping him alive, and I don't know what it is. But I want him to succeed, and I'm not even a Giants fan.
Oh, you know what's funny? The Commanders traded for Carson Wentz. Did we forget about that?
No, I haven't
There's
been
no,
a Carson Wentz fan since he
no,
stopped eating meat.
I know, Vegan Joe.
Vegan Joe.
Yeah. Um, no, Heineke just wins games, and I don't really know his record on
Danny
starts this
Dimes
year.
did win games.
He did, but maybe it was a fluke.
Maybe.
All right, we'll get off of this one.
Quarterbacks that win games. Jalen Hurts, Eagles demolish the Titans. Titans are bad. AFC South is bad. But the Eagles look good. Eagles look really good. Jalen Hurts is favored to win the MVP right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'm
I,
not sure.
I think he's plus 150 to win MVP right now.
It's
Eagles
hard
look
hard done to give him to him when he's 11-1.
Eagles look great. Is that the team out of the NFC right now, Train? All the way.
Yeah, man, they just kind of slipped up the last few games. Not this Titans game, but the last two games before that or three, it was close and they lost one. I think this was a great game at home against the Titans aren't bad, but they're certainly not 7-5 good.
Fired their GM too.
Yeah, what do you do? You're 7-5. That's crazy. But after that kind of loss, when you think you should be a playoff team, and it just doesn't look good. The Eagles, however, I don't know. I think I do have them at 1. How can you not? Uh, 49ers, man, with Brock Purdy going in there. Um, toss up between that and the Vikings, 2 and 3 for the 49ers or however it goes. And but yeah, I think the Eagles are on top.
I would agree. I think it's the obvious choice. I think Jalen Hurts also has that dog in him. Alabama quarterbacks continue to get. He went to Oklahoma, or did he? He went to Bama. Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Where did he go to college?
I think he bounced around. Did he not go?
Did he do Alabama and Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, so I'll just disregard what I was going to say. But yeah, I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's proven that now. He does have good weapons, but that's what you do for a good quarterback. So I think it's exciting to be an Eagles fan. I think Philly Zach is high on
Yeah.
life right now. He's got
It
him
was
on the
Oklahoma
future.
and Alabama.
Which one? Yeah. Some people they doubt Alabama quarterbacks sometimes. They're either the next best thing or they're not that great. But Alabama quarterbacks continue to come out and be good NFL products for the most part. Bad teams in the AFC South will stick on that train. We'll jump over to the Texans. They lose to the Browns defense. Deshaun Watson looked bad, to say the least.
Real bad.
Amari Cooper failed me on our touchdown score parlay. Ended my week 7 no loss streak. Is Deshaun what's going on with Deshaun Watson train? Can he get it back? Is he just shaking the rust off?
It's gotta
Is
be.
there mental games going on, or you think he just disregarded everything that happens and doesn't know that everyone's out there laughing at him?
Oh, how can you? I mean, he's human. He definitely knows. There's a lot of people saying stuff about him, and probably whatever it might be. It's probably getting to him, and the fact that there's 2 years and he hasn't played football doesn't help. Um, did not play well, and that was against one of the worst, if not the worst, defense in the league, the Texans, and the Browns really showed up. So when I picked the Browns spread for the teaser down to -1, I was definitely not thinking uh, this would be the way the game was won, but I'll take it.
Yeah, Browns defense would have been great to have him in fantasy. I think they got like 35 points for Justin or something.
What? 35?
I don't. It might have gone down near the end, but they had like 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 fumble recoveries.
Well, yeah, I
six.
knew that. I guess I didn't comprehend.
Yeah,
I'll look
three
it up.
touchdowns. It's a lot. So if you had the Browns defense, congratulations. Geno Smith MVP shows up again. Seahawks beat a struggling Rams team. Obviously, I think it's a good win for the Seahawks. If you're a Lions fan, you're happy to see another Rams loss. I still think the Seahawks might sneak into the playoff. I'm getting a little worried about them as of lately, but it's good that they're not getting tripped up on weak teams. So they might be in that, like mid-tier Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steeler kind of range. Think they make the playoffs, Train?
Yeah, the Seahawks. Yeah, I think they do. Yeah, I checked out that Browns defense and they got 31 they ended with. Um, but yeah, the Seahawks, another team that could take away the wild card from the Lions. So I mean, at this point, we wanted the Rams to lose, but we also wanted the Seahawks to lose. So what can you do? I think the big story from this game wasn't even in the game; it was today. Baker Mayfield is going to be a Ram. Um,
Should be fun.
I mean, weird, right? What's wrong with Stafford? I don't even know. Like
I
he
thought
just
it was
doesn't want to play.
concussion protocol.
Well, he cleared that, and then
Yeah.
they said he's still not going to be playing.
I mean,
And
the
so
man's
now
probably just busted.
you think like injury wise, or he's just done, or
Yeah, I mean, even when he was on the Lions, he just was playing with an injury most of the time. So it's like, yeah, I don't know if we. I mean, I guess we'll see, but I think the Rams have given up this season.
well, then why go get Baker?
I don't know. Maybe I don't
Right?
know.
Like I also was like, all right, they're going to go get him. The 49ers, everyone was talking about the 49ers going to get him because they don't trust Brock Purdy, but
It's L.A.
the,
Maybe it's a good business decision.
you think they just went and got him so the 49ers couldn't?
1.4 mil contract. Maybe you're trying to take it from someone else. Maybe you're trying to get some jersey sales really quick. I don't know. Maybe it puts butts in
I'm
seats.
lost. I'm lost.
It's LA, you bring in a guy like that. Maybe it's for more than just football. I don't know. I thought it was cheap. It was 1.7 to claim him. Whatever. Take a shot. I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to keep him away from someone. Maybe they think his value goes up. Like I said, a little bit bewildered, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. 49ers stomped the Dolphins. Wasn't as bad as it looked. Late fumble recovery for a touchdown or a pick six. Scoop and
Yeah,
score.
I think it was a picks. No, it was a fumble, but it was like off the fingertip, so it looked like a pass.
Okay.
But it was incomplete and fumbled and recovered, I think.
Cost us the teaser. It was Gnar's pick was the Dolphins. They've looked hot, but this is a 49ers defense that just doesn't quit. They never have. They looked great again. Nick Bosa's having an incredible season. They made the Dolphins offense, who's been marching through a lot of people, look bad. CMC is looking good for the 49ers. Biggest headline, though, Jimmy G goes down. 49ers seem to be rolling with Brock Purdy. Do you think they see something in him, Train, or do you think this is just the 49ers being like, well, next guy up, we trust in our system? What's
What do we have to lose? We got Trey Lance injured week 1 or 2. Then now Jimmy G goes down and they have to put in their rookie they just got. I mean, I think it's rookie, right?
yeah?
And they didn't go and
He
get
was
Baker.
Mr. Irrelevant this year. Last
Yeah.
draft pick.
Right, yeah. I mean, he didn't have a bad game. 25 for 37, 210 passing yards, and 2 pass touchdowns with 1 pick. But I would be pretty happy with that as a fan, especially against the Dolphins, a good 8-4 team.
First NFL game.
Yeah. CMC is gonna see the ball so many times,
So many.
and I'm so happy about it because he was losing a lot when he went over to San Fran. I have him in fantasy, my better team, and now I'm prayers up for Jimmy G, but it's kind of nice for my fantasy team.
Bengals beat the Chiefs. big headlines. Joe Burrow moves to 3-0 against the Chiefs. Chiefs are always a good team to beat in the regular season to really show people that, hey, yeah, we are for real. Just like you've got the Steelers some years when they're not dominant. It's a very dominant team when they get things together. But even when they're not playing good, there's still a hurdle for those mid-tier teams. You can compete with the Chiefs. You can make a deep playoff run. Obviously, it's the Bengals. They were in the Super Bowl last year. But it's good to see the consistency. Solid win. Jamar Chase, 7 receptions, 90-some yards. T. Higgins, handful of yards and a touchdown. They've got weapons. Defense seems solid enough against a good Chiefs offense. It could probably still use some work. But it's a team with not a lot of big names on defense who's still getting games won with an abundance of offensive weapons. You're still missing Joe Mixon. So,
Not much. Samaje Perine did pretty well. He filled in pretty well.
he's been doing well. He's been doing really well for him. So that's good on the next man up status. Bengals are legit. I know we've been giving them the credit the last couple weeks, but this is kind of that. Oh, yeah, we just saw it. They beat the Chiefs. Really impressive. Any thoughts on this game, Train?
Just a little sprinkle. After this game, me and Hammy found Bengals to be the number 1 seed in the AFC, plus 700. And they went and beat the Bengals in week 13. So, the Bengals went and beat the Chiefs in week 13. The Bengals are plus 700 to be the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Why not sprinkle it? I think it would be nice. It could happen, and they're a good team. They're healthy. Jamar Chase is back, and I guess Mixon isn't even back yet, so
he should be. He was also concussion protocol.
Oh well, see, he'll be back, and they'll be full, and I think they're a good team to take right now. They're going to, they got the momentum right now.
Raiders beat the Chargers. Sorry, Noah. It happens to the best of us. Raiders continue to be a team that we think is good, and then they're not good, and then you think they're not good, and then they win some games. Chargers still looking to find balance. Keenan Allen sliding back in nicely to the offense. Just not a lot else that could get done this week. And Devontae Adams came and played football for the Raiders, continuing to be just a ridiculous threat in the receiving game, starting to show that a lot more consistently now. I mean, if you get him with an elite quarterback, I mean, I know, you teeter-totter with Derek Carr sometimes, but if you get someone under center who can, you get an Aaron Rodgers with that Devontae Adams and that Raiders offense.
Bring him over.
Yeah, if you get Aaron, if he can produce like this with Derek Carr, he's obviously still got plenty of years left in him, and he's going to be a threat for a while. 2 pretty balanced teams, I think. Raiders are looking better. Any thoughts here?
A couple. Comp's been helping me. We've been making our DraftKings lineup, daily fantasy, and he said you got to put in Devontae Adams. A shout out to Comp on this one. I win again. I've been really hot in DraftKings lately, the last 6 weeks, and this was also the field goal frenzy. Last week, and I think the week before, it wasn't letting me bet the games, so I wasn't going to send out a bet and tell people to bet something when I couldn't bet on field goals. But I got another one.
3-1.
Hit. Yeah, 3-1, and this one hit, and I didn't even know. I thought I was dead, and they missed 3 extra field goals. So I definitely know when and where they're going to kick them. I guess I just need to figure out if they're going to make them, because I was sweating field goals, and no one else does that.
Yeah, that one loss should have hit. So
right,
because it misses. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys bring it down on the Colts. Another good defense to have in fantasy. I had them. Didn't help. Played against Devontae, who I traded away. Fun facts. Awful trade. But whatever. Cowboys defense looked incredible. Offense looked solid. Cowboys are going to be a tough team to beat, and their defense is disgusting. I mean, they've been consistently performing in fantasy. People thought they wouldn't be able to keep up with what they did last year. I don't think the interception numbers are quite where they're at, but man, Micah Parsons, he's a cheat code, Train.
He is just a cheat code.
Do you ever look? I mean, he talk about guy. I mean, I know he still went top 10, but talk about guys slipping in a draft. I know it's not like an Amon Ross slip, but
Oh yeah,
this guy should have been a top 3 pick.
he really should have. He's really changing this defense to probably back in him. Like he's the guy, and the Cowboys are really hot right now. They they they're so mean to Matt Ryan. Um, I don't know why. I think Nick Foles is still on the Colts, still hasn't played. Jeff Saturday, for whatever reason, just put in Nick Foles. Okay,
He was trying to let Matt Ryan get injured.
it's what remind every what.
Yeah, well, Matt Ryan goes down to injury. Nick Foles then comes in and saves the day. Can't
But
make
Nick
the
Foles
switch
can't
before
just
that.
come in.
Yeah, you can't just. Jaguars paid him starter money. I watched it. He got injured in the first game because that's what he does. It's you put it in the outline. Matt Ryan should just retire. I was thinking to myself watching these games a couple times, and like when I was a kid, I didn't really follow sports exactly how I do now, and like you just kind of knew some names, and then poof, they were gone. Now that I'm a little bit more focused on sports, you're kind of watching these guys' careers slowly go down. Those guys who don't just disappear. But, Matt Ryan's bounced around to a couple teams. You're like, yeah, it's still Matt Ryan. He probably stopped being Matt Ryan 3-4 years ago. And I think it's to the point where Matt Ryan needs to admit that it's no longer Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Jeff Saturday has to admit that Mans probably doesn't even want to play anymore. Um, let's see what 3 picks. I mean, it is the Cowboys' defense. I know you're getting at fantasy a lot in this with the defense. You want to break down this, what would have to happen for to not be last. I don't know. Break down the punishment. Give everyone a scope of where you're at right now in fantasy coming into the last week of the regular season.
Yeah, so if I lose next week, it's over. I get last place. Right now, the punishment is dress up as an elf, take a picture on Santa's lap. I'm open. I'm open to mix things up if we need to for convenience sake. But I will also honor the original punishment. If I win this week and Gabe or Justin loses, then I play whichever one of them loses in a toilet bowl game for week 15. If they both lose, then I'm safe because I have the most points for in those two playing an elimination game. So I need a win.
So it's not even close. Your points for are
I'm like 100 points in front of both of them right now on
okay.
points for. Especially after this week. I had 125 points. I just lost to someone who had 150 in a 10-man league. But yeah, it should be interesting. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be a stressful week, but we'll get through it. Buccaneers beat the Saints on Monday Night Football. Tom Brady ends it in typical Tom Brady fashion. Any thoughts on this one, Train, before we jump into college football?
No, not a whole lot. The Bucks are gonna sneak into the playoffs though, and Tom Brady's just gonna get in there. Ham, right after this game said, should I take a Bucks future? And I said, well, I mean, it's Tom Brady, so I mean, they won this game. I had a little play on it, their money line and the under. I thought it was dead, but it came back and won. Ultimately lost in fantasy because Tom Brady had the comeback. So it was a you know give and take there, but it sucks. The Jameis isn't playing football. Tom Brady is, and he's gonna get in the playoffs.
I mean, Jameis should be at least on the 49ers by now, but
Right?
he should be somewhere. He should be somewhere slinging the football. But he's not. He's stuffed behind Andy Dalton right now, which is frustrating. It's frustrating to see. Frustrating things to see. Blake Corum down with injury for a while now. We're not going to have him for the playoffs, but the rankings come out. Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, even after their loss in the conference championship, and Ohio State to 4 with USC's loss. Train, is this how you would have had the rankings?
It's so difficult because, Nick Saban said, would we be the better team if we went in there? But you know what? When it comes down to it, we had a huge discussion this weekend about USC losing their four spot because they lost in the conference championship when Ohio State didn't need to even play and they got in without even going to their conference championship. um, no matter where you look at it, people are going to be on both sides of it, and I think that's what we learned. Either you got to win your game, or you shouldn't have to win your game. You should be in regardless of how this conference championship works out. I think with the 12-team playoff, we'll have a we won't have that discussion anymore. It'll be set in stone a little bit earlier, I think. Well, maybe not, but like the conference championships won't impact other teams as much, and I think it's gonna be better, at least for our sake, because we won't argue about it for, I think, literally like 24 hours. I think we argued about
It was
whether or
long. It
not.
was a lot.
Yeah, it was a long one. I mean, that's a discussion. Um, Ohio State lost to us. We're the 2 seed, so if that's how you look at it, they were at home. There's a lot to look at,
Home loss by
and
20.
yeah. So I mean, you can spin it both ways,
You
really.
can. You can. Number 2 team undefeated in the country. So it's like that's the team that it took to beat you. Alabama had 2 losses. USC had 2 losses. I think if Ohio State and Michigan weren't big rivals, I honestly could have seen them dropping TCU to 4 and putting Ohio State at 3, with your only loss being to the number 2 ranked team in the country, and it's tough because I don't even was
Well, your only
Kansas.
loss was in the conference championship.
I know, but they lost
Uh,
to a much
See,
weaker, and they went to overtime too, which was another big factor. But ratings do matter. I think Georgia's going to murder Ohio State. I'll say that now. But if there is a Michigan Ohio State matchup in the championship, it's going to be the most viewed college football game of all time.
probably gonna be the most viewed
For a,
football game of
yeah,
all time.
yeah, it's going to do crazy viewership numbers. But I do think Georgia's going to win. I think Michigan will beat TCU.
Couple
Trey, do you
opt
agree?
outs, a couple opt outs for OSU already. Maybe only one. I know we saw a big one today. I had his name up. Not a big.
Smith and Jigba, is that who you're talking about?
Yep, he said he's going into the NBA or the NFL draft, and he's not going to be playing. So um, you see that a lot, and it's going to help the NFL. We talked about it earlier in the pod episodes, and we said the playoff teams with 12 playoff teams is going to help people not opting out, and we're going to see a huge shift in college football over the next couple of years. We're not going to have the same discussions we're having, and these people are probably going to opt out a lot less. I think you're right. Georgia is probably going to destroy them, but if they don't, let's play the only team that was supposed to beat us the whole year again. Why not?
At a
I'll,
neutral
I'll
site this time, not
yeah,
their home
yeah,
field.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I mean, all right, we can't get it ahead of ourselves. We got to play TCU, obviously a great team, coming
yeah.
off a loss, the only loss.
Dugan
But
Dugan's good. Their
yeah,
quarterback.
yes,
We haven't seen anyone like him yet. I don't think.
probably not. Well,
Maybe Stroud, but I don't think they're different styles of quarterbacks. Should be interesting. Should be a good playoff. 12 team is going to be fantastic. MLB offseason heating up, heating up. Big names off the board early. DeGrom going to the Texans. Justin Verlander is going to the Mets. Apparently, he turned down more money to go to the Mets instead of going to the Yankees because he didn't want to get booed in New York, which is awesome. Trey Turner signs with Philly. I think it was 11 years, 300 million. Set the shortstop market at around 27 million, which is big for the shortstops. Well, for the teams that need shortstops early on. AAV shifts a little bit in baseball because someone might get a 3-year higher AAV instead of 11 years. But Trey Turner was kind of outside of Correa. Trey Turner was probably one of the higher bidding targets out there. So him at 27, kind of hurt the market for a lot of the players. Still got Bogarts out there. Still got Dansby Swanson. You got Carlos Correa still floating out there. There's a lot of options still. A lot more to continue to go on. The Tigers off season. We touched on it earlier when we got the new GM, and I said expect a lot. Today there was a statement that came out that was a little bit not disheartening. I'm encouraged by it. Most people aren't. Evan Woodbury tweeted it. Essentially, the guy said, we're going to get our young guys at bats. We're going to get our young pitchers innings. Yes, you got to fill holes in the roster, but we're making sure to make room to develop the guys we have and to keep the guys we have here. A lot of people read this as we're not going to be getting a lot of free agents, which is sad. It's going to be more rough years of baseball in Detroit because it sounds like Scott Harris is just going to tear it all down and just start fresh and try to build a foundation, which is good and encouraging, but it's going to be boring, sad, and long for a lot of casual fans. And I encourage people to stick around for it because I trust the guy. I think he's got good ideas. He's focusing on building from within, but I don't expect a lot of exciting stuff to happen this offseason for him. It's going to be a lot of small moves, names you might not recognize, small contracts. I mean, our first signing was Matt Boyd back on 1 year, $10 million. That's to eat innings, but he seems really committed to getting, a lot of people, you see all these guys in minor leagues who have good stats. Like, oh, why aren't they pulling him up? Why aren't they pulling him up? It sounds like Scott Harris is going to pull guys up and give them shots when they're being hot, as opposed to just getting veterans to come fill holes for the season and hope you put something together, which is good. We should be encouraged.
So I know you like this, and most people don't. Starting out fresh, you said that you're going to expect a lot just a few weeks ago in this off season. Now we're not going to expect a lot, and obviously I don't know that. I don't follow baseball as much as you do, but is it a shock to see what you thought was going to happen rather than what is going to happen?
A little bit. I think it shows a lack of faith in the talent that we already have. Some of the big names, like I still think Torkelson's solid, Riley Green's good, but I think the depth we thought we had, we don't have. It just pretty much means that Scott Harris took a good long look at our entire roster and was like, oh yeah, there's nothing I can do without spending hundreds of millions, maybe billions of dollars to fix this team. The best route is to take things slow and figure it out. He might be transitioning us to a small market team. We might look like the Cubs for a while, the Giants for a while. It could be 4 to 5 years before we spend big money on someone again. Could be one. I could be misinterpreting his quote entirely, and we go out and sign a big name free agent next week. But it sounds like we're starting to rebuild, but I'm encouraged because it sounds like we're starting it the right way. So this is a good time to lock into baseball. Learn some of these names because it sounds like it's going to be people who are sticking around for a while. We're not looking for fillers anymore. He's looking for guys. So now you can learn a name, buy a jersey, and be a little confident with it. It's one way to look at it.
Gotta love jerseys.
Gotta love jerseys. Week 14 football. Teaser didn't hit this week. Touchdown parlay, only train hit this week. Dropped one on the teaser. It was Gnar's fault. Dolphins came up way, way short against the 49ers. Field Goal Frenzy 3-1 comes out on our Twitter. Drop a follow. Money in the Bank slips to 4-2 on a Steelers money line pick. Prop bets 16-14, and our teaser parlays are 4-7. A lot of those coming, all of them coming with just one teaser pick being wrong. Trey, week 14, what jumps out to you right away? You want to start with the teaser? You want to start with the touchdown scorer? I can start with Nars for either one. So
Yeah, I was gonna have you go over Nars pick or picks. We can go over the teaser first while I look at the board here.
Okay. Nars teaser is going to be the Lions. think they're at -2.5 now, so we're taking them to 4.5. Gnar's on the train for the Lions. Against the Vikings team that he picked to go to the NFC Championship, but he likes the Lions this week. So Gnar's got the Lions. I had a pick, but I'm a little bit worried. So I'm going to let Train go, and I'm going to think of a backup and put a stipulation on my teaser pick.
Good. Okay. So we got 6 teams on bye this week: Falcons, Bears, Packers, Colts, Saints, and Commanders. Originally looking at this, Browns came off a good defensive game. Watson did not look good, and the fact that they only won that game because of mistakes by the Texans and that their defense, I don't think, even though last week I bet on the Browns and Deshaun Watson, I'm going to go back to the Bengals, bring them from -6 down to nothing. I just need them to win. That's what it's at right now. I don't see it changing too much throughout the week. Not a whole lot of lines did other than that the Lions. So my pick is the Bengals, -6 down to 0.
If Trevor Lawrence plays this week, his MRI came back not that bad. But I'm okay if they rest him for the season. I am. If that's the move, okay, it's what we have to do. But if Trevor Lawrence is starting under center, we're taking the Jaguars this week. The Titans aren't that good. Maybe the Lions are really good now. The Jags still just beat a Ravens team recently, and the offense still clicks. If Trevor Lawrence is under center, it was always the Jags this week, taking them from +3.5 to +9.5. If Trevor Lawrence does not play, I'm going to take the Jets from +9.5 to +15.5. I think that's a lot to cover. I know it's the Bills, but it's a good Jets defense. I think 2 touchdowns is a lot. So Jaguars if Trevor Lawrence plays. If he does not, we're taking the Jets.
Yeah, pretty good.
Jaguars, Bengals, Lions. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, Bengals, Lions, Jets. Touchdown scores. Gnar's sticking with the theme of the Lions. He must have been feeling it at work today. I don't know. The balls were bouncing. He landed on Jamal Williams. That's Gnar's touchdown score. It's been consistent. He's been a vulture lately, which if you got him in fantasy, it's tough. #Steed. Shout out Parker. Never know who you're going to start, especially when you got them both. Jamal Williams for Gnar. Train, what do you got for me?
I'm going against your Jets pick. I got Stephon Diggs, anytime touchdown for the Bills. I know like last week I took Saquon. What I've learned taking these TD parlays is that you don't need you need that Jamal Williams, that Saquon, the guys that are going to score. You need a kind of a foundation to these parlays.
Yeah.
I think Jamal and Stephon Diggs bring a good foundation for you to bring it with our third pick. What do you got back?
I think I'm going to go Tony Pollard.
Great pick. I mean, he's hot.
They're going against the Texans. I've got him on my fantasy team. I need the win. He got 2 last week. I think he's got to find one. He's got to find one against the Texans. He's got to. Right?
Yeah, I think that's a great play.
Tony Pollard, Stephon Diggs, Jamal Williams, Jaguars, Lions, Bengals. No Trevor Lawrence. Jets, Lions, Bengals. It was just training out today. Thanks for stopping in anyways. Jux, an All Things Sports podcast presented by Always Bullin. If you're on YouTube, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Jux Sports Pod, JUX Sports Pod. More tweets coming soon. We've only got one so far, but we're working on it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us. Just the two of us train. Until next time, as always, fist it.